Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster's Sunday Celebration service. Please join us for our opening song this morning, My Soul is Welcome Here.
Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul.
Welcome back. I am Reverend Rona Segura, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our Sunday celebration service at Unity of New Westminster in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Whether you are watching us live on Zoom or on Facebook or on YouTube, or whether you are finding us on demand after the service, it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of all of us here. We would love to stay connected with you. So please subscribe to our newsletter on our website, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, or join our Facebook group. And that way you will be notified anytime we have a service. We are so glad that you are part of our experience today. The Unity Movement offers ideas for full and abundant living. We draw on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom in faith traditions all over the world. We respect every person's right to choose their own spiritual path, their own life path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. We open our service today in prayer. I gratefully acknowledge that I speak to you on the traditional and unceded territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation. And we give thanks to First Nation peoples everywhere for their custody of this beautiful land. We give thanks for our connection one with each other. That connection that happens whether we are in each other's physical presence or not. That connection that binds us all together. We acknowledge that there is only one presence, that there is only one power, that power that is understood by many names, many faces, and many paths. And we affirm that regardless of the name, the face, or the path of our understanding, that we are one human family. And it is in that knowledge of our oneness that we send a blessing for love, for peace, for contentment to every being on this planet, to every being, regardless of all the labels that threaten to divide us. We are one. And for this knowledge, for this intention, and for the power that we have to bless, we give thanks. Amen. It is my pleasure to welcome Thomas DeSchutter as our guest speaker this week. Thomas has spoken at Unity of New Westminster before, and people enjoyed his speaking so much. He is a lover of life. He is a champion for what is possible. And one of the things that delights Thomas is assisting people to cultivate their innate wisdom and to use spiritual teachings to help them take their business and their personal lives to new heights. Thomas is the board president at the recently created Unity of Vancouver Island, which has been emerging of the 3 Unity centers on Vancouver Island. So Unity Victoria, Unity Comox Valley, and Nanaimo have all come together to create one center called Unity of Vancouver Island, and Thomas is the board president. As if he's not busy enough with that, Thomas is a ministerial student at Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, and he has podcasts, he has YouTube channels, he has spoken to thousands of people in various settings around the world. He is so inspirational and so approachable that I know that you will enjoy hearing him speak. He lives on Vancouver Island along with his wife, 2 daughters, a dog, goats, and guinea pigs. I hope you enjoy Thomas DeSchutter as much as I do. I know you will.
Huh. Hey, did you see that? Did you hear that? How about that? Did you notice it? Okay, wait for it. How about that? That was perfect. It's a perfect moment. My name is Thomas DeSchutter. It's great to be with you here today. And I invite you to join me and walk down a road looking at perfection. Are there any perfectionists out there? Yeah, Yeah, it's okay. You can raise your hand even though it's virtual. You can do it. You can raise your hand. Yeah, there was a time in my life where I was somewhat of a perfectionist. Although I'm happy to say it wasn't, like serious. It wasn't a serious condition that I had. But there were times where I lived in that perfectionist, where I was thinking everything had to be perfect. I couldn't do anything unless it was perfect. And if I did something, it was measured against what would be perfect. And so here's what I want to share today. What if everything was already perfect? What if everything was already perfect exactly the way it is? What if you are already perfection? Nothing to fix, there's nothing broken, there's nothing going on. You're just perfect. And each moment that unfolds is perfect. Now imagine if we all lived with the idea of perfection, being that it's already perfect. And here's what I mean by that. In the dictionary, the meaning of perfect is having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as it is possible to be, absolute, complete. That's the definition. As good as it is possible to be, absolute, complete. Now, where I think we might get stuck is that we formulate in our head an idea, and then we presuppose how that should look. We come up with an idea of the way it's supposed to be, or how it should look when it's finished, or the way I would like it to go. You know what I mean? And so then what happens is, if it doesn't go exactly according to plan, if it doesn't go exactly the way we want it to, it's not perfect. Like somehow we have that much control over the unfolding of the universe. So I would like to invite you to look at perfect differently. To start and end with perfect. Things are absolutely perfect. Everything that has got us to this place today, everything that has brought you here today to this moment in your life has been perfect. Now, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it met all of your expectations. What I'm saying is it could only have unfolded the way it did. It could only be exactly the way it is. And therefore, as good as it is possible to be stands true. Kind of like this. If you imagine you're making a soup, and when I think of this, I often think of I think there was a kid's story I used to read to my kids, turtle soup or something of that nature, where they just, the turtle just throws everything in the soup and what you get is what you get. Well, that's kind of how I look at this conversation, this play on life, is that everything that was in the soup that got us to this moment, every part of my life that brought me here to be with you today, every part of your life that brought you here to be involved with this community and being on this live session today or this recorded session today is absolutely perfect. It could only have unfolded to this moment exactly this way. There is no other option. The universe does not make mistakes. God, if we want to call the universe God or God the universe, unfolds exactly the way it does. And it's perfect. It doesn't make errors. Now, We might want to look back over our lives and say, yeah, I could have, I might have, maybe, perhaps, should have, possibly done that, maybe just a little bit of this or that differently, and it might have possibly come out in a different way. That's absolutely true. That is something that we can sit back and analyze in our lives and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't have acted that way. Maybe I shouldn't have said those things. Maybe if I had done a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, things would have been different. And that's good to do. It's good for us to notice what's going on in our lives. It's good for us to pause, kind of like taking an inventory of things. How did I get here? What brought me to this moment? How would things have possibly been different with some different choices I may have made? And therefore, if those opportunities come up again in the future, I can learn from my past to potentially make different choices. And let's agree today. Let's understand fully that exactly where we are, exactly what has unfolded, is perfect. And it is not attached to whether we like it or not. It's not attached to whether we think it is good or bad. It is what is. In Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." So do not be conformed to this world. In other words, do not look at this world as the absolute truth of things. Instead, discern what is the unfolding, the will of God, the unfolding of the universe, and see that it is good and acceptable and perfect. So I want to back up a little to the idea of maybe suffering inside of that perfection. When I think back to failures in my own life, so for example, I've had business partnerships that have failed, I've had relationships that have failed, and in every one of those instances, when I look back, I can see that the biggest struggle in coming out of them was facing the fact that they didn't go the way I had wanted them to. That they didn't end up where my dreams had taken me. And so a lot of the suffering I had around those moments was actually embedded and baked into what was a false sense of perfection, a false understanding of the unfolding of God, the unfolding of the universe, the unfolding of everything that brought me to each moment in my life. And so I wonder, as you reflect on this today, if that is true for you, if you can see a time looking back where you've had that suffering, where you've struggled with the way things went. And again, I'm not suggesting that we don't feel the emotion of a disappointment, that we don't feel the pain of a loss. That's not what I'm saying. We definitely have to grieve and move through things that didn't go the way we had wanted them to, or didn't go the way we expected them to, or were a complete surprise. So we must have compassion for those moments in our lives. We must go through that process. And let's agree to understand that if that suffering is just because it didn't go the way I wanted it to, the way I expected it to, that we're holding ourselves accountable to some belief system that said if it didn't go this way, it's terrible. Because I'm a perfectionist and everything has to be perfect. Well, guess what? It is perfect. Exactly the way it is and exactly the way it isn't. Just like you. You are perfect, whole, and complete. Exactly the way you are and exactly the way you're not. And as we look around the world today, how much of that thinking are we not seeing? How much finger pointing and blame and unmet expectations are being thrown out into the world, are being pinned on other people? How much of that is going on in the world today? Well, from what I can see, there's a lot. We find ourselves right now in this place of being divided around what side of whatever conversation you're on, and not being able to sit down and have dialogue, not being able to see that my brother or my sister or my friend or my colleague also has an opinion that is just as valid for them as it is for me, as my own is for me. So as I stand and think back to this idea of perfect, I want to humble myself to the place where understanding the universe, God, in that infinite source, that infinite knowledge, that infinite way of being, unfolds perfectly. You know, I heard something the other day about religion, and especially Christianity. And the idea was this, that how much damage has been done in the world over the last couple thousand years in the name of God or love or Christianity. You know, how much pain and suffering has been done. And, you know, I'm sure if you're like me, you can say a lot. There's, you know, the record shows that there's been a lot of pain, a lot of suffering around that. Yet, what this person also mentioned was, how do we know that that isn't necessary to get to the end game? Is it done yet? Is our society finished being constructed? Is our way of life and unfoldment finished being done? Is there hopefully, potentially more to come? Well, I think yes. And in that instance, if that's the case, if that's true, then how do I know that all of this stuff that has led up to this moment, right here, right now, wasn't necessary? I'm not that bright. You know, I'm just not that smart to know the way things should have gone and the way things should go. And so I'm happy to give up that idea that it's supposed to be this way in order for it to be perfect. I'm happy to lay that at the foot of the universe, at the foot of God. Put it on the altar and say, hey, this is way outside my realm. I'm going to live the truth of love. I'm going to open up my heart. I'm going to share as much love as I can into the world and allow that to unfold as it does. And there's times I may not like it. There's times that I may struggle, just as you may not like some things, and just as you might struggle as well. And let's agree that it's perfect. It's unfolding exactly as it should unfold. Everything that's in the soup is right there, right now, brought us to this moment, wherever you are on the world, wherever you are in your life's journey, wherever you are in your spiritual journey. It's absolutely perfect. I mentioned a little earlier the opening of my heart, sharing as much love as I possibly can. So I invite you to join me, and let's open up our hearts together in a meditation. Let's live knowing that the love in here, the openness we can achieve, is perfect. So if you're comfortable, please close your eyes. And if that's uncomfortable for you, just find a spot on the ground, maybe a couple feet in front of you, where you can soften your gaze. And if you can, place one or both hands just over your heart. Just begin to notice your breath. And with each exhale, with each breath out, I invite you to see if you can find a spot in your body temple that has a little tension to it. And just allow your exhale to release that tension. And now, begin that process of moving from our heads down into our hearts. And you can do that by just imagining your heart, just seeing it in all its perfection. As it beats, as it's done every day of your life, over 100,000 times a day. It has been there for you. And maybe if you bring your attention to your hands, you might feel your heart beating inside you. And I invite you to imagine that as you move forward today, your heart is opening up. That through accepting that everything is as it's supposed to be, using that power of release and letting go of any expectations, of any feelings of regret, that as you do that, your heart is expanding. That love that's in there is expanding and reaching out. And I invite you to notice that you have more love to give than you ever thought possible. Bring a gentle smile to your face and just stay with me here for a moment. Just feeling how much love is possible. And now you can gently bring yourself back. You can lower your hands from your heart. Just let them rest alongside your body. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. If you haven't already, you can open your eyes. Throughout the week, I invite you to bring back this memory, this smile on your face, this feeling of love, this togetherness, this unity. And when you do that, in that moment, I invite you to acknowledge just how perfect it is. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.
I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well. And every day I affirm and pray that I'm blessed with everything I have. I release my fear, 'cause it's all so clear. I am held, I am loved, I am safe. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I am well, I am well, I am well. Ooh. And now I see what my life can be when I trust in the process and have faith. And now I know when I just let go that I have all I'll ever need. surrender. All is well. All is well. All is well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well. All is well. I am well. I am well. All is well. All is well. I am well. Ooh-wee.
You are invited to join us on Mondays at 11 o'clock for our weekly prayer service. It is a time where we get together on Zoom and we connect with each other. We share how we are doing with each other. We move into a time of guided prayer. And we read the names of the people who are on our prayer list. And it is a time of renewal, of connection. It is a profound experience of recentering. And so I invite you to join us for that. And if you would like your name, or you know someone who you would like to have added to that prayer list, then please email us at unityofnewwestminster@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to have the person's name or your name added to our list. Mondays at 11. Recognizing that the COVID-19 numbers in our area have been rising recently, Audrey Pound's family has decided to cancel the celebration of her life, which was scheduled for Saturday, September the 11th. We are disappointed that we aren't able to pay tribute to Audrey in the way that she would have liked and the way that she so richly deserved. And yet we know that Audrey, who loved people so much, would be devastated if anyone was to become ill at an event which was in honor of her. She would never want to put anyone's health at risk. We send love and appreciation to her family, and we send love, appreciation, blessings to Audrey. We miss her, we remember her, and we celebrate the light that she was to everyone she met. I'm delighted to share the exciting news that our dear friends Art Pearson and Brian Pugsley were married on August the 21st in Maple Ridge. Congratulations, Art and Brian. We wish you a marriage filled with contentment, with care, and with kindness. I'm so very happy for you both.
Good morning, friends. My name is Aaron Johannes. I'm the president of the Unity of New Westminster Spiritual Community Board. I just wanted to share a few things with you. First of all, we've had our first meeting of the new board, which we've just elected a couple of months ago. And so we wanted to let you know who's doing what and who you might talk to. I continue to be the president. Cliff is the new vice president. Our secretary continues to be Ludwina. We have a new treasurer, and that's going to be Barb Good. And then directors at large are Chris, Colleen, and Greta. And so feel free to talk to any of us about any concerns you have, or things that you're really liking, or anything. We also have a bunch of committees. And so Cindy is the de facto social committee because it's what she does and loves. But I don't know that she's actually agreed to it yet, but I just keep saying it until it's true. Our outreach committee is Cliff and Lyle, and our truth and reconciliation committee is myself, Rona, and Lyle. and we'll be working hard over the next years. Leadership and operations is Rona, Jerry, and Alexandra. And that's about it. We continue to meet every month, and we're also continuing to do training with Martha Creek, which is a great pleasure. My other notes are on my phone, and so out of an abundance of caution because of the rising numbers around COVID and some of the things that the government is asking us to do, we've decided to, after making some steps forward and coming together, we've decided to take a little step back until probably mid-October. And so not that long. We've all been enjoying kind of getting together and having a good time. And so we look forward to doing more of that. But between now and the middle of October, we're canceling in-person events. And so our yard sale will put off until another time. I guess that's about it for that. We had some, we were hoping to get together a couple of times a month to do in-person services, and we'll try for that again in October. And I'm sorry if that's disappointing to people. We have a reopening committee that's Greta, Rona, and myself. We've been meeting every month or 6 weeks to just look at what's happening, and as we need to, we've been trying to make decisions for all of us. Those decisions are often based on the needs of our elders in our community and on the needs of our staff, because we feel like we have to be protective of everyone. So when we're together, we'll be wearing masks, continuing to do that. And we'll let you know when that's going to be. So the other really good piece of news is that we've been working with Rona to renegotiate the contract that we came up with 2 years ago. She's actually been without a contract for the last year. Just because things got so busy, we all decided that we would just focus on what needed to happen rather than that, and that was fine. And she's been lovely and gracious and patient as always. But now we've been able to meet and look at the contract. Christine and I are the contract committee, and so we've been able to do that. Look at some of the numbers from other places, and work with Rona and then with the board. And we've come up with a contract that is tentatively for 2 years. We're just finalizing some of the details. So for the next 2 years, Rona and us will all get to work together, and that'll be great in terms of being able to do some planning for the future. And also just in terms of continuing to work with her. I think we're all learning so much. Thank you so much. Feel free to get in contact with me. Let's see. You could email Unity and they will forward it to me. Or you can email me, but I can't remember my email address right now because I'm getting ready to teach in 2 weeks and I'm kind of overwhelmed. ajohannes@me.com. There you go. ajohannes, JOHANNES @me.com. It's kind of an egotistical email, I guess. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for coming.
Our food pantry is 1 year old. For those of you who may not be aware, we have a food pantry that is just on the outside of the church building and is available and accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for anyone to take food if they need it and to drop food off if they have spare. And at the moment, our inventory is quite low. And so I am asking you to take a look in your cupboards, or the next time that you're at the grocery store, pick up an extra can or two of some food and please drop it off at the food pantry. It has been a real success. People have taken food and left food a lot over the course of this year. And so I'd love to see that continue going. And to do that, we want to have lots of inventory there so people can take it if they need to. So please, inject some food into that food pantry, canned goods only. Thanks.
When we are able to meet in person, we hold a birthday celebration on the last Sunday of the month. Of course, we aren't meeting in person at the moment, but that's no reason not to celebrate. So please join us after service today as we celebrate the people in our community who were born this month. Birthday Sunday today.
There are many, many ways to give to our organization, either through credit card online or direct Interac transfers or checks or cash. We are so grateful for the generosity of the contributions that we receive, which support not just our ministry, but also organizations in our own community that do amazing work, and Unity Canada that spreads the message of unity across the country. Thank you for your contributions. I invite you now to hold whatever you feel blessed for in your hands, in your heart. Financial, family, roof over your head, food on the table, just whatever you are feeling blessed with as we sing our blessing song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And we come to the end of another service. I thank you for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed your experience with us today. I wish you all a very, very blessed week. Goodbye, everybody.
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God.